Kat, and today I want to talk about new book releases of February and my TBR for the month. So let's just jump right in and get started with the 5 new releases of February that I personally am most looking forward to. First up is The Sin Eater's Daughter by Melinda Salisbury, and this just came out on February 5th. This is a debut novel, and it's the first in a series. It's set in a fantasy world, and it's about a girl who is engaged to this prince, and she lives at the castle, but she is the executioner. She instantly kills anyone she touches, and everyone, including the prince, kind of just avoids her. But then this new guard arrives at the castle, and he doesn't seem to fear her like everyone else does. And then the queen is plotting something, and things are just getting complicated. Not only does this book have a fantastic title and a gorgeous cover, but I'm kind of getting some Shatter Me and Throne of Glass vibes from the synopsis here, and I loved both of those books, so I'm definitely interested in checking this one out. Next up is The Ruby Circle by Rochelle Mead. This is the 6th and final book in the Bloodline series, and it's coming out on February 10th. Now, I can't really talk about the synopsis of this book without spoiling the previous ones, but I am so excited to get my hands on this. I just flew through the first 5 books of this series at the end of last year, and I loved them. And if the Vampire Academy series is any indication, then this finale book is going to be epic. I've already seen some people have it early, and I am jealous, and I will be reading this as soon as possible. Next up is The Last Time We Say Goodbye by Cynthia Hand, which is also coming out on February 10th. This is a contemporary standalone novel, and it's about a teenage girl who is trying to cope with her brother's suicide. But that is kind of difficult because she's been keeping a secret about what really happened that night, and she's not going to be able to move on until she kind of makes peace with that. Now, I've mentioned before that I'm not really a big fan of books that deal with suicide. However, the Unearthly trilogy by Cynthia Hand is one of my favorite trilogies of all time, and I have just been wanting to read something else by her, and this book has been getting some really great reviews so far, so yeah, I think I'm gonna have to give it a read. Next up is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and this one is also coming out on February 10th. This is also a debut novel, and it's another first book in a series. It's set in a fantasy world where the commoners, the Reds, are ruled by the Silvers, who have magical godlike abilities. We follow a teenage girl named Mare, who is a Red, but she possesses some abilities that threaten the control of the Silvers. This book has been kind of pitched as Graceling meets The Selection, and personally, I loved Graceling, but I thought The Selection was just okay, so I don't know exactly how I'm going to feel about this book, but there is so much hype and buzz surrounding it that I do want to give it a try and see what it's all about. And finally, I have A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, and this is coming out on February 24th. This is the first book in a new fantasy series about a man named Kel who can travel between these parallel Londons, and a girl named Lila who lives in one of these Londons and is a pickpocket. When she steals a dangerous, powerful item from Kel that does not belong in her London, well, that's when things get interesting. This is one of my most anticipated books of the year. I just love Victoria Schwab's writing style and the stories she tells. I was actually lucky enough to get an arc of this book, and I started it and I was loving it, but I forced myself to stop and wait until closer to the release date because I want to be able to talk about it with you guys, so I need to give everyone else a chance to get this book. But now the book is almost out, which means I'll be able to finish it and talk about it, and I'm very much looking forward to that. Alright, so there you have the top 5 releases of February that I'm most excited to read, and I'm definitely gonna be reading some of those this month, but I also have some other books I'm planning to read, so let's talk about those. I want to start with the TBR jar. Last month my challenge was to read a new to you author, and I didn't read just one book to fulfill that. I decided to kind of make that my theme for the month. I ended up reading 6 authors that I'd never read before, so I would call that a success. Let's see what I get for February. I meant to do that. Ooh! Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your TBR jar. Here we go. Oh, I want this one. This one. It kind of matches me today. Can you see what it says? Can you see? Book someone else picks. Book someone else picks. Hey Christine, do you want to pick a book for me to read? My TBR jar challenge is book someone else picks.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Walkie talkie, like now?
Yeah.
Like any book ever?
Any book, preferably one I own and haven't read yet.
Ooh, read Slammed.
Slammed. Okay. I'm going to read Slammed by Colleen Hoover because Christine picked it. Alrighty, so aside from the new releases of February that I'm planning to read, and Slammed by Colleen Hoover that Christine just picked out for me to read, I really only have 2 other books in my TBR, and those are The Well of Ascension and The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson, books 2 and 3 of the Mistborn trilogy. I was completely serious when I said that I was gonna read this immediately in February. Like, I'm currently reading this book and I'm jumping into this one as soon as I finish. So, yeah. Completion of the Mistborn trilogy is a thing that will be happening in the next week here. I was gonna say few days, but like they're big books, so give me a week. But yeah, I think that's just about it. Those are the books I'm planning to read in February, and that's all I had to talk about for this video today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a great night, and I will have another video up soon, so I will see you then. Goodbye! With a release date of February 5th. Which is today, probably yesterday when this goes up. Time. But she possesses some powers that threaten the silver control. That was like so oddly spoken. I don't know. This is the first book in a new adult, not new adult, huh? Huh. Huh. Can you see it? You can see what it says. It's on me. I'm blind. I'm balancing it. Oh, oh!